Hey folks, John with Alternate Arms. Look, it says it right there. Now, you guys don't know where we are. Trust me, stay with me on the story. You're gonna dig it. Here we go. All right, guys, so yes, it says Alternate Arms pretty much everywhere around here. But where we are is actually down in my son's airsoft arena. It's called Alternate Arms Arena. So yes, Alternate Arms too. Quit your whining, it's awesome. But here's the cool thing about this. You guys can see how he's got all set up back here, right? So one of the reasons I wanted to bring you guys down here is to show you, number one, the airsoft arena that I've told you about so many times, but number two, we're scouting the location for our new studio, which you guys are going to be involved in helping me build. And I know what you're thinking, that I don't listen. Anybody that knows me, that reads those comments knows I listen to you guys. That's what we do. All right, now, another reason that we picked this, guys, is because, number one, we're going to start to get into PCP air rifles and a lot larger launchers. We're talking like the PTX Bullpup, the Overwatch, the EMF 200, all of these larger launchers that I need more than our standard shooting range to be able to hit. Well, this place is going to give us that option. Not to mention, he's already got scuba tanks to fill them up. They've got compressors to fill up the PCP tanks. It's got everything we need. Now, you guys have never met my son. You have seen my daughter on a couple of videos. You've seen my wife in all the Wife Fires videos, but you've never met my son who owns the airsoft field. So I'm going to introduce you. Hang on a minute while I grab the camera. And here he is, the man himself.
All right, so my name is Jean-Luc Reynolds. I'm actually the owner of Alternate Arms Arena, and as he might have suggested, I am also his son. Apologies for the gym attire, by the way. I was not expecting this, but here we are.
Surprise.
Yes. I'm actually going to be showing you guys around the arena. So right now, we do use this facility for airsoft, but as a secondary measure, our local sheriff's department actually uses it as a training facility, hence why this is going to actually work really well with the self-defense stuff. So let's take a look. All right, so we currently have the facility split up into 3 different sections. Number 1, we have a 4-bedroom, 2,000 square foot house. Number 2, we have a really long hallway, which we're actually gonna show you first. And then number 3, we have a section with smaller cover where we'll run objective-based game mode. So for this instance, specifically the self-defense, I like to show this first because this is a lot more usable for training purposes, just like the sheriff's department usually tells me. So we're gonna start by walking over here.
Right.
And this is actually the entrance to our long hallway. So we're going to go around this little piece of cover, and this is going to be the beginning of our long hallway. Now, all of this is currently under construction, so we're still adding to it. We actually just put this up literally last week, so we're going to continue adding to it.
And you never actually stop construction here, do you? I mean, the truth is you're moving this stuff all the time.
Right. Well, yeah, and I always take advice specifically from the sheriff's department because they know what they're doing and I don't. So we have, for those of you law enforcement officers or military, you'll probably know the difference between a corner fed, a center fed, and an out of true corner fed rooms. Now, all that means is where the entrance is into the room. So just to make it as realistic as possible, we have corner fed rooms, we have center fed rooms, and then we have more corner fed rooms. The primary purpose of this is obviously whenever you're going through and doing room clearing, you want to be able to fill and flow as a team. Again, this is just really good training situation for the sheriff's department to use. And now for the self-defense stuff, this works out great if you're trying to emulate a household design. We have a long hallway with multiple bedrooms and bathrooms jutting off of each side. Actually, this works out really well because we can go into the second portion, which is going to be our large 4-room house. That's actually going to start over here. And
this is, guys, the camera does not do the size of this justice, and this is not even a third. I'd say not even a quarter.
Not even a quarter, yeah. So the whole facility is roughly 20,000 square feet. We're looking at 220 feet by 80, so it's a pretty large facility, really long rectangle, which is why we're able to do the different designs. So this is kind of the beginnings of our 4-bedroom house. We have what we call this is like our little kitchen / bar area. Over here, we are going to be building into this place multiple restrooms. We're also going to do another hallway, and we'll go into the next room, and that's actually going to be our bedroom. You'll see by my very poorly built bed.
That looks very comfortable, doesn't it, guys?
Yes, after staying here for long, late nights, that's usually, I'll take a quick nap there. Good for your back, as you can imagine. And then, yeah, like we're going to be having the living room design in here in this next room. And just like I was saying with the hallway, by the way, look, we have corner fed rooms. If you look behind you, we have a center fed. So all of this is about how the rooms feed, just so you can have that fill and flow whenever you're going through the trainings for the Sheriff's Department. So
That's awesome.
yeah. This is the main side that we're going to be doing most of the training and most of the shooting videos through. The other side of the facility, which we can certainly show if you'd like, is where we do most of our airsoft stuff.
Yeah, well, definitely want to look at that. Now, you said you had a really long run for my shots with these PCP air rifles. Okay, what do you got in mind?
Okay, so that long hallway that I was showing you, the distance from this wall to the wall on the other side is 220 feet. The only thing blocking us from that entire line of sight is 2 pieces of cover. That piece right there and this piece. Once these 2 are gone, and then I think there's one on the other side, you get the full 220 feet that you can access. So that's a little less than 80 yards, actually a little more than 70 yards. And we'll be able to, test out just how accurate these are.
Guys, I want to get your opinion on something too. So this sign was actually made for me a long time ago at the flea market. But what I'm thinking is, see that? What I'm thinking is that we move this thing all the way back against that wall, it becomes one heck of a target mount.
That's a good target. Yeah,
That's
and
a great target.
I'm pretty sure this is sheetrock anyway, so if you want a good way to test penetration, if it can go through this stuff.
Yeah, we got 3/4 inch here.
Yeah, that's going to be good.
Yeah, and yeah, it is. Yeah, that's sheetrock. So this ought to be very nice. Yeah, we may do that, guys. So you're seeing the beginning stages, but to give him an idea about that run he was talking about.
Yeah, here, I'll push this down. I just moved
watch
this.
That is all the way down to the other wall.
Yep.
So this is where we're going to be doing our indoor shots for the PCP air rifles. Starting, well, you guys know what we're starting with because we just did it. All right, so let's take a look around the next section.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we continue down, so if you've been paying attention, you'll notice that the long hallway is actually going to be to the left of the 4 rooms that we have. So we want to make that one big thing so that the police department can use it as like just one route that they can go through and practice different methods of clearing.
Right.
So as we continue to go down, I'm going to go all the way down this hallway. So this is actually our living room that we had built for them as well. This was the only piece I was talking about that's blocking all the way down to the bottom of the wall. So once this is moved, scooch this over, you actually see the other wall. So this is the other side.
Other side of the wall. So
it's a distance.
This is the shot, guys. It is a long, long way.
Yep, all we have to do is move a couple pieces of cover. And this is actually the other side, so you can tell there is a stark difference in design. We have a lot more small cover, just places where people can hide behind whenever they're doing the game modes. We usually run game modes out of these little houses that we've built. I'll go ahead and walk us over here as well. The primary game modes that I'd say are really popular and something that we could also use for the self-defense stuff is hostage extraction. You know, we have an actual hostage extraction. We have a game mode where we simulate like a home defense. It's a lot of fun. We can shut off all of the lights in this, by the way. So I don't know if they make less than lethal launchers with tracers, but they should, maybe look into that. That'd be kind of cool.
I don't think that would be that difficult, especially with like the HDX 68s.
Yep. So. For nighttime scenarios where you don't quite know where you're shooting, it might actually be a really good thing to use.
Not a bad idea at all.
But yeah, you can see, so it gets really tight over here. And again, if we're running scenarios with less than lethals where you want to train home defense, something like this would be a lot more realistic because it's a lot tighter close quarters. And when you shut all the lights off, like if it were at night, it gets really spooky in here. So it's very, very good for
guys,
training.
To say this is a maze would be like the greatest understatement in the history. Yes, they do shoot microwaves. Quit laughing.
Yes. Don't worry, they're all non-functional.
I would hope so.
Well, at least if they weren't before, they certainly are now. And yeah, once we walk through here, this is actually, you've only seen half the facility. So we have a whole nother side of the facility that we could possibly use for doing some of the shooting videos. Maybe not realistic for the less than lethal stuff, but if you wanted, we could still use it.
All right.
And yeah, this is basically the center of the field. So this section right here is the center of the field. There's 110 feet going either way. And if you could see behind the walls.
You can't say, which is good. You're not supposed to see
That's
behind
good,
the walls.
yes. Yeah.
All right, so yeah, let's take a look at the other side of the field.
All right, so this is actually the other side of the facility. This is known as our competition field. So it is 100 feet by 60 feet, and this is what we used to run our little competitions. So we have a bunch of small cover and large cover. Obviously, it's a mirrored design. So from orange wall to orange wall, you're looking at an exact mirrored design. And that's obviously to maintain fairness, and we run tournaments pretty often. So in terms of like a less than lethal, you could obviously use this as a range if need be. If you wanted a shorter range, something that's a lot more open, this could obviously be used for that. But yeah,
it's actually a pretty good range. Field. Yeah, I see that. I don't know about you guys, but that is a pretty solid distance right there.
Yep.
And
you're looking at 100
that is a pretty solid surface to put something on.
Yep.
We may look at that. All right.
Cool.
Yeah, this is pretty awesome, man.
Yeah.
So where's this room of which you speak that we should put a studio in?
I'm glad you asked. Let's take a look. All right, so this is actually the beginning. It is totally empty right now. Mind the echo, by the way. I can hear the echo on this side. But on the other side of this garage door is actually a door entrance that we had built in. We just have it closed for security. But we had this mural painted by one of our airsoft players. He did a really good job. I told him not to include airsoft, primarily because now it can be alternate arms airsoft or self-defense, which is cool. And yeah, this is where most of the videos are going to be done from here on out. This is obviously right next to the main field that we had just showed you. So if you go in here, that's your 220 feet by 80 feet. So you could film in here, do some testing out there, come back in here instead of having to drive around. So.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So guys, this is where I need your opinion, okay? So this is the room we're working on. This is actually quite a bit larger than the studio over at the flea market. Since this is going to be exclusively dedicated to alternate arms self-defense and alternate arms air rifles, I'm going to be building the studio with that in mind. So this is going to be the back wall that I'm thinking about using because I've got power on this wall, and I'm thinking about, this is what I want to get opinions from you guys on. I'm thinking about mounting slat boards right here so that we can put the different launchers on the wall. Now, on one side of this, I want to have all of the retired launchers, the ones that you can't get anymore. Just for instance, I don't know, the Intru Buster. Yeah. Maybe the Guard Dog Fireball. Maybe the Grimberg Gavel. I mean, something like that. Create an entire list of launchers that you can no longer buy. Then in the middle, we'll have my personal collection. Leave me alone. I'm an addict. I admit it. Now, I'm thinking also as we do test these launchers, they'll end up on this wall with the PCP air rifles as well. So that's what I'm thinking. We'll do that over here. When we're doing like pictures or something like that for screenshots or whatever, I'll use the mural over here because that mural is absolutely amazing, guys, and I don't see any reason not to use it. And I'm going to repurpose his airsoft repair station over here as a mod station. It's a little small, but I think it'll actually work for what we're doing, and it's, you know, it's got all the stuff we need. So this is my plan. If you guys have suggestions, I'm even thinking, I mean, since I'm going to put either pegboard, which, I mean, would work, it just may not look as good, or slat board on this, I don't think I need to replace that paneling. That's actually stuck on there pretty darn good. I'm just going to put it on top of it, maybe paint that wall. So then I'm going to have to build a desk of some sort here. I like that circular design because it keeps everything around me, but it'll be a lot less cluttered because I won't be running a full business out of it as well as a YouTube channel. So once again, suggestions, guys. I want to hear from you guys what you think. This is also going to give us a couple more opportunities. Not only do we have the long range shots, but we have, we'll actually be able to do penetration tests on plywood and multiple pieces of it. We're going to have the ability to fire at greater distances. Now, you guys know 3 to 5 meters, right? 9 to 15 feet. That's your standard self-defense. I test on the outside of that, usually at 20 or 25, but this is going to give us an option, guys, to go literally as far as we want to go to see what they'll actually do. So let me know in the comments. I am going to put this up as a premiere so we can all watch it together. And everybody out there knows you can always reach out to me if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions. I'm always available for you. Have a great weekend, guys, and be safe.